A young girl expresses her romantic feelings to Mako, but due to various issues at home, he is unable to reciprocate and turns her down. The girl leaves in tears, and Mako expresses gratitude to his teacher, Sayuri, for overseeing the confession. He had her on standby to ensure it wasn't a joke or prank. Sayuri is worried about Mako's deep distrust of people and advises him to open up a bit to make friends. Mako insists he doesn't need friends and abruptly departs, believing that as long as he's cautious, no problems will arise. He vows never to repeat the same mistake. In elementary school, Mako, who was the class joker, used his humor to make his crush, Shizuka, laugh. However, one day, while joking on the playground, she accidentally tripped and fell. Despite asserting his innocence, Mako was accused of intentionally pushing her. He rushed to get bandages from his bag upon seeing Shizuka's bleeding knee. However, upon his return, classmates had already taken her to the nurse, leading to rumors that haunted Mako. Despite hoping his family would support him, they did not. Upon hearing about the incident, Mako's mother called Shizuka's mother, forcing Mako to apologize. With no friends or family to support him, Mako decided to stop speaking altogether. During middle school, Mako befriended a studious girl named Sato after returning her phone. Their close relationship brought happiness to Mako. Unfortunately, another misunderstanding labeled him as the boy who attacked Sato. Once again, Mako found himself alone as no one believed his side of the story. One day, a girl named Kisaragi asks Mako to be her boyfriend despite his tarnished reputation. Despite this, Mako agrees to start as friends and agrees to meet her over the weekend. However, on the day of their supposed date, it is revealed to be a prank orchestrated by some boys in the class. With Kisaragi reluctantly participating, her confession turns out to be part of a cruel punishment game. Mako's already fragile heart, shattered by the events with Sato, is now completely broken. Mako shut himself off emotionally, but unfortunate events persisted. A few weeks later, a girl named Nanako reached out to befriend him. Suddenly, her friends cautioned her about his negative reputation, but Nanako genuinely didn't seem bothered. Eventually, she invited him to karaoke with some friends, and trusting that it wasn't a one-on-one situation, he agreed. Regrettably, Mako fell victim to deception once again. He blames himself for letting his guard down and despises himself for repeatedly falling for the same ploy. Upon entering high school, Mako discovered that Shizuka, his former crush, was also enrolled. Having learned his lesson, he decided to avoid any involvement with her, just like he did with other female classmates. Nevertheless, Shizuka followed him home, commenting on his gloominess and lack of friends. She offered friendship, claiming she never believed the negative rumors. However, unease grew in Mako's heart. When he questioned why she only approached him now, Shizuka explained her nervousness during middle school and fear during the earlier witch hunt against him. Mako remains indifferent. He wants her to stay away. Despite apologizing for the past incidents on the playground, he believes it's too late for her to express trust after all these years. Returning home, Mako encounters his sister, Haruka. His pervasive gloominess and distrust extend to his family life, with Haruka noting his previous happiness. His mother suggests celebrating his first day as a family, but Mako rejects the idea, asking them to enjoy dinner on their own. His mother hopes he stops sulking, but his response is a commitment to be more cautious in the future. Alone in his room, Mako notices 2 new messages. He writes light novels as his sole hobby, and his editor informs him of a publishing company's interest. Annoyed, Mako pretends not to have seen the message. The following day, exhausted from pondering the publishing company's email all night, Mako notices Anari, the girl next to him, eating alone. She too has a negative reputation. A girl approaches Mako, seeking to join him for lunch, but recalling past incidents with Nanako, he dismisses her. Instead, he asks Anari if he can read her book, and they exchange books. Mako trusts Anri because, like him, she faces isolation from others. The disregarded girl runs away. Yet, Mako admits that she is correct. It's the first time he has voluntarily spoken to someone, and he's perplexed by it. Accompanied by his sister Haruka, Mako walks home from school with groceries, still pondering why he initiated a conversation with Anri. When he sees Anri on the road, smiling at her phone, Haruka also notices her and labels her a delinquent. As she passes by, she squints, leaving Mako wondering. Once Anri is out of earshot, Haruka calls her a weirdo for being a delinquent in this era. Mako mumbles something, but she doesn't quite hear it. She questions why they drifted apart as siblings, expressing jealousy that he always played with Shizuka instead of her. Haruka's hypocrisy nearly chokes her as she admits being wrong about the rumors and yearns for the past. Mako won't fall for it again, feeling sick when she claims to be the only one who believed in him. He requests Haruka not to address him as an older brother anymore, excusing himself by claiming the food is melting and running home alone. Returning to his writing, Mako receives fan mail from Pamiko, a dedicated reader, which genuinely brings him happiness. The following morning, he heads to school and spots Shizuko waiting at the front gate. Ignoring her, he walks past, but she stops him, requesting a serious conversation. Her friend, Momo, introduces herself and insists that Shizuka is sincere. Shizuka pleads for another chance and invites him to a movie. Momo praises Shizuka but harshly judges Mako, believing every bad rumor about him. Tired of the interaction and realizing politeness won't help, Mako prepares to be harsher. Before he can, Anri growls at them to move aside. Momo, startled, reminds Anri of their past friendship. Impressed, Anri asks her to drop the delinquent act for them to return to how things used to be, repeating the detested phrase, "I believed in you." Anri loses her temper, but Mako restrains her and requests her to remain silent. Turning to Shizuka and Momo, Mako questions if either of them has ever faced unfounded slander, rumors, or betrayal from someone they trusted. He desires one thing only: to be left alone, and urges them to do just that. It's too late to undo what has transpired. Shizuka runs away in tears, while Anri simply averts her gaze. During class, Mako observes Anri appearing cheerful, engrossed in reading a light novel on her phone. Suddenly, she begins typing rapidly, prompting Mako to check if Pamiko has messaged him again. Shortly after, he receives a message from Pamiko praising his latest chapter. Though pleased with her enjoyment, he delays responding until he completes another chapter. Anri glances at him strangely, starts typing again, and Mako gets another text alert. Embarrassed, Anri fumbles and drops her phone upon Mako noticing the Pomeranian sticker on its back. It dawns on him that Anri might be Pamiko. However, he finds it unlikely and decides to delete her text after class. The entire day passes without Mako deleting the message, and he feels nauseous holding his phone. At least, the final homeroom of the day is about to begin, and he'll be home soon. Mako observes Anri, who maintains her usual guarded aura, feeling intrigued but deciding it's better not to engage with her. When Sayer announces the upcoming school trip, advising them to form groups with friends, Mako leaves as soon as homeroom ends. Anri attempts to talk to him, but he departs before she can say more. Frustrated, she kicks her desk, telling him to stop trying to be friends with her. She storms out, prompting Sato to ask if they're friends. Sato, having undergone a transformation since high school, still resembles the girl from the library incident. Like Shizuka, Sato attempts to coax Mako out of his shell, recalling their fun time in the library and even entertaining the idea that he was her first love. Despite Mako stating there's no need, Sato wishes to be friends again, citing lessons learned from romance games. She puts on her old glasses to charm Mako, but he remains steadfast, refusing to be drawn into the past. Feeling empty, he checks his phone after receiving a notification, and Sato assumes he plans to take a picture of her. Instead, Mako reads a message from Pamiko expressing excitement about his next chapter. Ignoring Sato, he goes home, reflecting on Pamiko, or rather, Henri. He concludes that there's no possibility of betrayal on his part. If anything, he'd be the one betraying her if he didn't release another chapter. Unsure if he'll ever finish his story, he resolves to complete the next chapter. Upon arriving home, his mother invites him on a shopping trip with Haruka. Claiming to meet a friend, Mako insists they go without him. His mother, tired of his attitude, advises him to let go of the past, striking a nerve as she and Haruka used to go places without him. Unable to change his troubled past, he knows his mother hasn't changed either. Mako leaves, stating he has a friend to meet. Haruka sarcastically questions the reliability of his words. He leaves, anticipating his mother and Haruka heading to the new mall and opting for an older shopping center. The food court is empty, allowing him some peace. However, by sheer coincidence, Henri is also there, and Mako spends moments, maybe minutes, observing her reactions while reading a web novel. Eventually, she sets down her phone and starts typing. Mako checks his phone, learning Henri's web novel is getting published, even though she stopped updating it a year ago. He receives a message from her, once again praising his latest chapter. Gathering courage, Mako buys 2 orange juices and attempts to talk to Henri. Initially mistaking him for someone hitting on her, she is shocked to see Mako. Want to know the sequel? So comment here on the video part 2 and I will record the continuation of this wonderful work. Subscribe to the channel and leave a like. See you next time.